Today on the WTF Crypto Space podcast, we talk about two politicians revealing their own cryptocurrency. We also talk about students learning about cryptocurrency and the ATO trying to bust cryptocurrency. All this and more on the WTF Crypto Space podcast. Stay tuned. You're smart. You know how to listen to suggestion and make your own decisions, right? We're just two Aussie brothers talking shit about cryptocurrency. So, do yourself a favor, research the topics before doing anything financially. Now for that banging intro music.
Welcome to WTF is Crypto Space. I'm Brett.
And I am Chad.
This podcast is all about the crypto space. All right, Chad. So this week we topped with Molhausen in Germany.
Hey guys.
They topped the charts this week, which is brilliant. Thanks very much for dropping in. And we've got Lansing in United States, Bethel in United States, Dellandella in Australia, Singapore. The boys are still holding strong. Number 5. Torella, Australia, Sydney, Australia, Tulsa in United States, Central District, Hong Kong, and finishing off the top 10 with Melbourne, Australia.
Now, if this was a competition, then there would be more stats more readily available for everyone. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about some good things today, Brett. We're going to talk about two Queensland politicians reveal their own cryptocurrency. Also, the Australian High School is to host an information night dedicated to educating students on cryptocurrency. And lastly, the ATO is coming for crypto traders. So we've got 3 topics all about Australia. This is going to be interesting. If you're an American, this is a little insight onto us in Australia and how much law we love.
Stay tuned. We do talk about cryptos heading forward or backwards in 2018 towards the end.
True that. Your information highway here is for you guys. So, Brett, let's go to the first one. 2 Queensland politicians reveal their own crypto. So, what's happening here?
Well, look, there is a lot of different conversations happening in Australia at the moment. One of the interesting things is that naturally we have politicians who have to declare any of their interests because, as you can appreciate, they need to have to tell others whether or not there's a conflict. So if they vote on something or they put their money towards something in particular, we need to know where they stand. So
supposedly that's a thing that's supposed to sort of uphold trust and honesty in governments around the world. But Australia seems to be quite heavy on that, especially because sometimes you can't actually have dual citizenship and still hold a position in politics.
Now, what I like that's really interesting, and we've talked about this before, but I don't think we really touched on this, is the wave that's happening as we sort of transition in the Western world. I mean, obviously around the world, but as we move from the demographics of the baby boomer generation through to the Millennials, and as they move into more significant roles within society. One of the really interesting things then falls into the fact that new people coming into the political system are of that younger age, fitting into the millennials, which means that they also are attracted to these things and various interests personally.
Yes.
So when they come into this space politically, now suddenly they have to declare this information. So because you would hate for that, I mean, for starters, it's public. So they don't really have to declare it because it was already on the blockchain, just pointing that one out. But anyway, so according to the Brisbane Times, these 2 Queensland legislators have publicly declared their cryptocurrency trading history as part of their Register of Members' Interests. Okay, so the Register of Members' Interest is required listing of all properties, trusts, gifts, as well as union and party affiliations by members of Parliament. Okay, so one of those is a newly elected Qatar Australia Party member Nick D'Amato he may be the first MP to list Bitcoin among his assets. He just wanted to be first.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. He is 34, so he was born in 1983. And ladies, if you are interested, just type in Nick Dameto. That's Dametto. Second picture in is some abs. So not only does he have abs, he's also got Bitcoin.
He's the rounded package. There you go, ladies.
He is.
So one of the next one that we're looking at, Chad, is about Australian high school. So this is a recent one. They're starting some educational presentations. And so in light of the increasing number of students investing in cryptocurrency, so they're not talking about parents, they're talking about students who are taking some of their money and putting it into there. So there's been a surge of popularity of Bitcoin among these particular students from this school, and I'll mention them in a moment. And this has prompted an Australian high school to host an information night designed to educate its students about cryptocurrencies. St. Laurence's College in Brisbane recently informed the parents of students that it wishes to hold this particular session. Now, increasing the student investment prompts Australian high schools to continue down this path. So, it was held as a non-compulsory meeting for staff and students from Year 11 and 12 designed to educate students, parents, and faculty about the new space of cryptocurrencies. I like that. And
new space.
The crypto space. So the school issued an email stating, while St. Laurence's College has no official stance on the subject and it is felt that the boys should be cautioned and educated about these purchases. The email stated that the presentation will look at features of cryptocurrency, the technology underpinning them, and will give some very basic information about the state of the market and ways to keep investments safe according to Australian media. Now, what I really like about this, Chad, is that they took the technology approach. They're looking at finance with teenagers. So that goes down the whole path of what we've said for many years and what people say for many years, that they don't teach you finance in school.
Yeah, I was about to say they've gone from they've just done a major leap from even doing anything to cryptocurrency, which is brilliant, to be honest.
But please note that this particular school is one of the upper tier schools within Brisbane City.
Well, that's true. So if they can afford as 11 and 12 year students, then clearly they're either getting good pocket money, and not just being out of school, but getting good pocket money. They're selling their car, their first car that they've gotten and just gone for a shit box, and then they've put that money, which is smart. Or they've stolen from the very large cookie jar that is the money storage where they put $100 notes and bars of gold.
Look, the thing is they took it a little bit further. So they've brought in Christina Lee, a business and accounting professor at the Queensland University of Technology, and they've supported the school's decision, stating that teenagers will greatly benefit from the educational efforts relating to cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so this is huge. I mean, building that stronger financial literacy within the next generation, I can see them obviously picking up the cryptocurrency over the next 5, 6, 7 years, and perhaps even bringing us into that path as that next gen comes in to actually get paid in cryptocurrencies. Because, hey, they go, oh, well, I don't want this worthless piece of fiat. I'd like some crypto. Thanks. I don't want to work for you because you don't know what you're doing. It's like working for a company that doesn't use Office. So as we head into the last quarter of the year, Chad, we're then taking those financial information that we're giving kids, we're rewarding those kids, we're educating the future generation. But the thing is that a lot of people have already got in. Well, no, a number of people have got into the crypto space. And those people that are in the crypto space have had the ups and downs. But probably, as a general consensus, there is a good number of people who have actually gone forward with their investments. Now, it's important to note, as we say in the offset here, it's not about the financial advice. What we're pointing out here is that it's something to be aware of, that both parties, the individual and the ATO, are still a little bit unsure about how this is all going to roll out. So that's something to be aware of. There are a number of discrepancies in some of the rulings that are there. Obviously, the big bill that's passed in America recently. So that's one aspect around information.
Nice.
However, something to be looking at here is that the ATO is establishing a task force. Now, we talked about this in one of our early podcasts in 2017, and they're looking to monitor cryptocurrency transactions, right? Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Looking forward to it. So the task force aims to ensure cryptocurrency investors are paying the correct amount of tax.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
If they live in the jurisdiction, what happens if they don't live in that jurisdiction and they're earning money? So where exactly is the cryptocurrency located?
And unless you do an audit of every single person in Australia specifically to find out what their monies have gone to and where they're at, and then cross-check that with people that, there's so much red tape into that bullshit. That's just crap. There's no way of doing that other than unless you pull that money out.
Look, they will, like anything, Chad, they will go after a few people, okay? Right. And they will make a point of a few people.
Yeah.
And so that's a really interesting exercise. Because if you go down that exercise, you say, okay, no problem. They're saying that these wallet transactions took place.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that a lot of tax systems work on the premise that you have to prove that you are in fact able to say the figures that you said. So you can say, well, I've earned this and I've spent this and this is what I have to pay on tax. So there is a degree of honesty in the initial layer. And so then the second layer of that is obviously that you need to indicate or prove that you have got the correct tax bill. And that's the onus is on you. Okay.
Yes.
So that's where it's really interesting, because I can't see individuals going through all their tax and going, you know what, I made, I don't know, 1,000 transactions this year because I was using a wallet. So, you know, that's really hard. And this is where it comes into the whole factor of, are you spending your cryptos? Are you earning your cryptos? Are you saving your cryptos? Depending on what you're doing with it, they all have different rules set aside. So the task force aims to ensure that the cryptocurrency investors are paying the correct amount. Okay?
Yes.
A team of specialists across tax law. I love that. Specialists across tax law. I'm sorry. When was cryptocurrency invented? 2008.
Yeah.
Good. Lots of specialists out there. So tax law, technology, banking, and finance will devise strategies. Devise strategies to be able to take your money. Follow the money of the gains made from investments in digital currency. So we are consulting with key stakeholders who have expressed an interest in tax issues relating to cryptocurrency. Really? Who are they? Would you like to disclose that?
I can't tell you who they are, but I won't say they have paper bags over their head as we move them from building to building. And also, don't look in the car park and they have a specific place that they drive in and drive out. So just don't look at the gates with their license plates. Just be blurred in your eyes because you won't know who they are. These guys probably just walked in and got the train.
Look, like anything, you can see that there's a lobbying happening. Naturally, the banks are all interested in using Australian dollars. It's their preference. They would prefer to have a monopoly over money.
Very heavily in the Australian dollar. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Australian banks are really, they have the biggest to lose. And I would say that if you followed the money, you probably find that they might be somewhere at the root of this new focus. But so the Australian banks were still battered and bruised extensively from the money laundering revealed last year. So this is what we've pointed out before, that in fact the biggest bank robbers are in fact the banks.
Bankers, yeah.
So that's a bit of a difficult. It's important just you keep all the money in one place for easy access to their own back pocket. So
if you're going to steal gold, why not just chuck it in the backyard? Like, that's easy to do. You're going to steal it from people. No, just get people to trust them. Everyone, the whole neighborhood, come here, grab your gold, put it in my backyard. Where's the gold gone?
Look, something to be mindful of, and this does bring up, I mean, we jest about this, but the thing is, it's really important to know that if you do have cryptos, don't leave them on an exchange, period.
No, that's big advice, yeah. Don't do that. Even if it's a small amount, get it off there and go into a wallet or something more secure.
Remember, if you don't control the private keys, you do not control the money.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Now, and they can just pull it and take it.
Yeah, look, and so some cryptocurrency investors have said that Australian banks were freezing their accounts and banning transfers to cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, I didn't have any issue throughout the year.
No,
but there are a few more stringent rules coming around the delay. So what that might mean is that in order to do that transaction, you might have thought, oh, great, the currency is a particular amount. Let's say it's, I don't know, 10,000 Australian dollars. Great. It's a bit more than that. But let's say, for argument's sake, it's 10,000. Now, you thought, oh, great, I'll sell that today. Fantastic. You've done the sale. But it takes 9 days to get to you.
Okay.
So suddenly it becomes a less effective way of transacting funds than using the Australian dollar.
Yeah.
And in which case, the Australian dollar suddenly becomes more attractive.
Does that cancel out the fact that I could use that Bitcoin just to pay someone else to give me the same amount of money that's like a third party?
No, look, and however, the problem with that is, even at the moment, because there isn't enough players out there, and if you feel like you're out there, guys, and you want to start yourself a business in this, there is a lot of regulatory risk that you've got to look at, and a lot of questions you need to ask yourself if you're going down this path. But some of the people that you would use to actually pay out the money are making 20% profit on an exchange. Now, those sort of, I would expect those sort of rates if I was in South Africa trading between 3 different tiny currencies that no one's heard of, but not the Australian dollar, not Bitcoin.
Yeah. No.
So there's a lot of people that need to get their act together out there and sort of bring that back into line. But at the moment, they're making profits, and they're making stunning profits.
I have 3 points to make. We are currently sitting in some sort of a lull. They're calling a lull. Would you agree, Brett? Like they're saying it's a bit of a lull, kind of like no one knows what's going on just yet.
Absolutely, I can feel it, yeah.
Yeah, so just remember, it might feel like pushing shit uphill, but you can take a shower and someone's probably swallowed some gold. So when you're up there, you can clean up and find some gold in there. Secondly, hodl. Because the only time that you will lose money is if you take it out. This is when I have an issue with people with stocks. They're like, so I lost all this money. Well, you lost a perception of that money. So you bought it at $20. It went to $200. You made $180 in your mind. How much did it cost you? It cost you $20. If it goes down from there and it goes to $150, you did not lose $50. You gained $130.
Look, like I said, Chad, by keeping the cryptocurrency in Bitcoin, for example, and we've gone over this many times, but one of the things about cryptocurrency means that you are actually your own bank.
Yes.
You
absolutely.
don't need the authority of others to control your money supply, which means that part of it is that you're going to find some people that are looking for the profit. They're looking, how much money did I make in Australian dollars? But part of that as well is to look at what sort of purchasing power would I have lost had I have kept it in Australian dollars.
Yes, exactly.
So last year, had you have left your money in cryptocurrencies, you would have lost 87.5% at minimum.
Yeah.
Of your money had you left.
Oh, you mean Australian dollar? Yeah. One thing, the third thing, and the last thing I'm going to leave on before we end the show, unless you had something else to say, Brett, is Stephen Colbert last year when it was going up and down and going crazy. Bitcoin was at its like $15,000 US, and Stephen Colbert, one of my favorite comedians of all time, said, "Wow, if I had invested $1,000 in Bitcoin last week, today I would still have no clue how Bitcoin works." That was my favorite tweet I found today. So guys, with that, I will leave you, and we will say thank you so much for listening. Like us once and comment in the chat below. Brett, we have a Twitter.
WTF Crypto Space.
Brett, we have a Facebook group.
It's Crypto Space. Chaddles.
And Chad, we have a website. Yeah, we do. So what's that website? It's www.wtfcryptospace.com. That's www.wtfcryptospace.com. Thank you, Chad. You're welcome. Also, guys, subscribe to this podcast to get your weekly updates from us knuckleheads, and it'll come through to your podcast feed every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But until next time, I'm the Chad.
And I'm Brett.
Let's get excited about the crypto space.
The transition has begun.
Door in a world. Door where the noises come from my mouth. I think it's gonna be a Litecoin week. So definitely take an umbrella.
Oh, that's so...
In a world where Litecoins were physical objects.